welcome back to Sharing Our Stories. I hope you are staying well. Let us continue praying with and for each other, and let us be keenly aware of following the safety guidelines to protect ourselves and those around us. Last week, we heard Rep and Shelley's story of actually contracting the coronavirus and struggling with all of the unknowns that come with such an experience. This week, Donna shares her story from the perspective of the medical side of this pandemic. She played an integral role in preparing the COVID test for use in Mississippi. Thank God, Donna and her team remained healthy throughout the process. So I invite you to listen to her story of the importance of being prayerful and hopeful during these times.
Hi, my name is Donna Cotter, and I have been a parishioner here, I guess, for about 6 years. I am originally from New Orleans. My husband's job got transferred up here a couple of years after Katrina, in which was a huge change for us. And we have been living in Brandon for about 6 years. I've been up here for 10 years. Father Hurley and St. Paul's is a wonderful community and a wonderful church, and I love being here. I was raised Catholic in New Orleans, and I am a medical laboratory scientist. When I came here, I was very blessed because I was able to get a job at UMC, and right away, and which was wonderful. It was also a daytime position, and which is highly unusual, especially coming in to a new hospital. Most people have to start off in the evenings or the nights, and it was it was a good experience starting at UMC. Great group of people, a lot of hard-working people. I started off in chemistry and then wound up working in serology. I worked in infectious diseases. We dealt with HIV and hepatitis and syphilis and various other diseases. And of course, you know where this is going. I was, of course, working in serology when COVID came about and started as a pandemic. Needless to say, I was scared to death. We did have the instrumentation there in the lab to go ahead and to begin testing. It is called what is a laboratory developed test. And I was lead tech in serology, and it was my responsibility and with help from my coworkers, but a lot of the responsibility was on my shoulders to bring the test up, to make sure it was valid. And with it being such a rush job by the manufacturers to get it out there into the labs, it fell on a lot of the lab personnel to do a lot of the footwork, which was our limit of detection, sensitivity, stability testing, a lot of additional validation to make sure that the test was a good test, a reliable test, for our results to constantly repeat correctly. Unfortunately, we didn't have a shortage of patients to use to test. We also used a lot of the employees in the lab for validation purposes. And it was a crazy time. And I remember praying about it so much and just being afraid of missing something. That one afternoon, after Mass here, I was speaking to Father Hurley and letting him know, that I was afraid and that it was a lot that we were dealing with, and the pandemic had just started. This was, I guess, back in early March, late February, early March, and I asked him to pray for me. And of course, he was gracious enough to bless me and say a prayer over me. And we wound up getting the test in-house, and we worked unbelievable hours, unbelievable weeks and weeks and weeks, pulling 14, 16 hours, me and my coworkers, and none of us ever got sick. Nobody ever complained. A lot of fortitude, a lot of paperwork, a lot of testing. We were very blessed. We had one of the instruments where we weren't running short on reagents. A lot of doctors, a lot of pathologists pitched in and helped. And it was a holy moment because we persevered, and it's a very reliable test. I've actually had the test a couple of times. One time during validation, and another time when I wasn't feeling well and had to go get swabbed. And never a doubt in my mind that it was a good and reliable test. And it is available, and we're still running there. I think that recently UMC reached a benchmark of 100,000 tests. Unfortunately, those are staggering numbers, especially right now. I know that the volumes are back up. So I've had many people ask me questions about the actual COVID virus. Unfortunately, this is something we've never seen before. It is a virus. It acts like a bacteria almost, in that it causes some of our testing for enzymes that are normally out there, or that we test for with a bacterial infection. It does pop up with this virus. It is very unusual. Symptoms vary. We've tested people who have been asymptomatic who have tested positive. And of course, we tested patients with symptoms who, are also positive. And, part of the reason for that is that everybody's different. Everybody's immune system is different. Everybody's going to react differently from person to person where this virus is concerned. Best case is if you feel you've ever been exposed, go get tested. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just a little uncomfortable when they, of course, swab the nasopharyngeal or the nares. That can be a little uncomfortable, but it's worth it. It's worth it to know. A lot of people some people don't have symptoms, or very mild symptoms. Headache, maybe a little bit of congestion, maybe a little bit of cough. And then we have some patients that have had extreme symptoms. Nausea, losing smell, taste, high fevers, very high fevers, chills, throat, pounding headaches, can't get their head up off the pillow. We are learning more and more. Doctors are learning more and more of what to test for, how to treat it. We do have convalescent plasma in the lab, in the hospital, that we are able to administer to people. That is making an impact. So my point is, don't panic. If you start feeling bad, even if the symptoms are mild, and you're thinking that there's no way this could be COVID, go get tested. It doesn't hurt, and it will help you not to expose coworkers or family members or other people out and about, that you expose not knowing that you actually have the virus. I no longer work at UMC. I'm now at a Vicksburg hospital. Just a situation arose that I had to move on. But God tends to put me where He needs me. The same, I'm sure, with everybody else. And I just pray that we see an end to this pandemic soon, and that everybody out there stays safe. Keep wearing your mask. Keep washing your hands. And hopefully, in the next couple of months, those numbers will start coming down, and we'll get back to just running, hopefully a couple of tests a week, and we can put all of this behind us. But God bless, and thank you for listening to my story.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate your helpful insights and giving us a look into the healthcare system procedures to combat this virus and care for public health. Hopefully, you have relieved some of the fears and anxieties that we are feeling. And we also appreciate your message of great hope that we will soon overcome this pandemic. Advent is the season of hopeful waiting. We await the coming of the Messiah. This third week of Advent is about finding and bringing joy to this season. May we all dig deep to find and feel the gift of hope and joy in the Lord. He is with us in this time. He is the light in the darkness, and so let us remember and share that good news with others this week. Thank you for your responses to our Christmas planning survey. Based on your feedback, we have decided to offer 4 Christmas Masses this year so that we can accommodate all who wish to celebrate with us. We will have 2 Vigil Masses at 4 and 6 p.m., Midnight Mass, and 10:30 on Christmas morning. Please pay special attention to the Mass times and the guidelines included in the registration form. There's a lot of information, but it's all very important. We have also found it necessary to return to registering for all weekend Masses. We have now added a step where you will be asked to show your registration to the ushers in order to be seated. Accordingly, if you do not register ahead of time, we cannot guarantee a seat for you. This is just the reality of what we need to do at this time in order to keep everyone safe. We appreciate your cooperation, your patience, understanding, and good cheer throughout this process. Thank you for your cooperation, and may this Christmas be a special blessing to you.